Buford has been getting a lot of attention lately, and not the hypey, trendy kind. This is the real kind, the kind that comes from families actually living here and loving it. So if you're trying to figure out whether it's a fit for you, let's get into it. And if you're thinking of moving here, I want you to have a clear picture of what life actually feels like on a day-to-day basis, not the brochure version and not the Zillow version, but the version you pick up from living here, raising kids here, drinking an absurd amount of coffee here, and just doing life here in the North Atlanta suburbs. Hi, I'm Sarah Pickell, and I help buyers relocate to the North Atlanta suburbs from all over the country, especially families who are looking for something a little calmer, a little roomier, and a whole lot more community focused. I make videos just like this one to help you get a real idea of what different suburbs are actually like. So if you find this helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you never miss a new neighborhood deep dive. All right, let's talk about Buford. Buford has that interesting mix of history and growth that you only notice after you've been here for a while. It's not a tiny southern town, but it also doesn't feel like a big city. It sits right in that sweet spot where you can get to everything you need while you still feel like your kids can ride their bikes after dinner without you having to panic. The community itself is tight-knit, especially around the schools. People know each other here and people show up for each other. And there's this constant thread of local pride that you can feel at a football game, a downtown event, or honestly just walking into the local coffee shop on a random Thursday. If you're craving a suburb that feels alive but not too overwhelming, you'll probably feel right at home here. We have to talk about Buford City Schools because they're a big part of why people move here. They consistently rank among the best in the state, and they are known for strong academics, amazing arts programs, and basically a football culture that feels like an SEC game on a Friday night. If you've ever driven past Buford's football stadium, you know exactly what I mean. The schools don't just impact families with kids either. They actually influence home prices and community involvement and after-school activities. And honestly, the sense of pride that people carry when they talk about where they live. So whether you're a parent or not, strong schools are part of what shape the entire experience of living here. Outside of the city limits, there are other schools that are also in Buford that are part of the Gwinnett County public school system. Still great schools, just not Buford. That's important to note. Housing is where things get interesting because Buford isn't one uniform neighborhood. You've got multiple established communities with mature trees and big yards. There's newer construction neighborhoods filled with amenities. And then there's also Lake Lanier pockets with water access. And there's also everything in between. Price points vary a lot. Starter townhomes might land in the 350s to 400,000s, depending on locations, while single-family homes in Buford City School District often stretch into the 600s and up. And if you go closer to Lake Lanier or into newer luxury neighborhoods, you'll easily find yourself in the $800,000 to $1 million range or up. I will often have clients want to start their search in Buford City School District and then end up outside the city limits just because of the affordability. And something people don't always realize is that Buford overlaps with Gwinnett County and Hall County. And so depending where you end up at, your taxes and zoning and school district may vary. That's something I always walk through with my clients because it can make a very meaningful difference. One of the biggest advantages of Buford is that you're close to everything without feeling overwhelmed by the big city. You're right off of Interstate 985 and Interstate 85. So getting into Atlanta is very doable as long as you time it right. Most people do not commute downtown every day from Buford, but if you do, just know that early mornings and mid-afternoons will be your best friends. You're also about 20 minutes from the Mall of Georgia and 15 minutes from Swanee, 20-ish minutes from Brazelton, and about 10 to 20 minutes from Lake Lanier, depending on where you are. The location makes it easy to hop into any of the North Atlanta suburbs, which is something I really appreciate in my career. For hospitals, you've got Northside Gwinnett and Northeast Georgia Medical Center close by, and there's specialty centers and pediatric offices and urgent cares all around. You don't feel isolated from healthcare like you do in some other suburbs just further out. Let's talk about coffee, food, and local favorites. This is one of my favorite parts because Buford has such a fun and growing food scene. On the coffee end, you've got Brightside Cafe, Chin Chin, and a few smaller spots popping up closer to Hamilton Mill and Flowery Branch. For restaurants, downtown Buford is where the personality really comes out. Bare Bones is awesome, Rico's and Aquaterra are staples, and then there's always a steady rotation of a few new spots coming in. If you like breweries or wine, there are a few spots downtown as well. Elixir Brew, Cork It, and Meander Brewing. And then there's several spots around Swanee, Sugar Hill, and Brazelton that are all just within a short drive. And if you're the type who wants to spend your weekends doing more than just sitting at home, there's a lot to do here. You've got the Buford Community Center with free concerts and events happening all the time. Lake Lanier for boating or kayaking. There's beautiful parks, lots of youth sports, and a growing restaurant hubs around Hamilton Mill and Flowery Branch. A lot of people ask me what the pace of life is like here, and honestly, it's that ideal middle ground. You can have a full, busy life with activities and kids and sports and 100 things going on, but it never feels too chaotic. People value family time here. They value space, both indoors and outdoors, and there's this unspoken thing where everyone cheers for each other. Whether it's your kid's sports team or the small business that just opened up or the new house that you just bought, there's always a sense of stability here. You see the same families at the grocery store, the same faces at school events, and year after year, Buford continues to grow while still holding on to the things that make it feel like a cute little community hometown. Lake Lanier is a huge part of living near Buford. Even if you're not a boater, the lake still shapes the entire experience. People go for early morning walks at the parks and coffee runs with lake views, paddle boarding days with friends, or just watching the sunset from a quiet lookout spot at the park. Even being near the lake, just the calmness it adds to your day is a plus. Buford has several parks and trails that give you that outdoor lifestyle without having to drive too far. So Bogan Park and, of course, Lake Lanier Islands and the Gwinnett Environmental Center, they're all nearby and they all give you plenty of space to get outside and reset. Here are a few things people don't always realize until after they're here. Number one, traffic is situational. Buford isn't terribly crazy, but certain pockets like around the Mall of Georgia or the lake can get really busy, especially during the afternoons, weekends, or holidays. Two, school zoning matters way more than you think. The house of the Buford City School address will price very differently than the one across the street zoned for Gwinnett County Schools. 3, Buford is growing fast. That's new neighborhoods, new businesses, and new developments are happening constantly, which brings convenience, but also more people, more traffic. 4, real estate moves differently here. Homes in certain pockets sell very quickly because demand is so high, while lake homes or luxury homes may have a slower turnover depending on the season. 5, you'll want to also explore surrounding suburbs. Swanee, Sugar Hill, Flowery Branch, and Brazelton, they're all close and they have their own unique personalities that add to your lifestyle. If you want a suburb that feels connected and grounded, where kids walk to friends' houses, where you see familiar faces at football games, and where you can get to the lake in under 15 minutes, Buford is probably going to feel like the right fit. It's made for people who want a stable, community-focused place where they can grow, stretch out, and have a little more space in their day. And if you've been craving a move that gets you closer to nature, but still keeps your life convenient, Buford checks a lot of boxes. So if you're thinking about moving to Buford, or really anywhere in the North Atlanta suburbs, I'd love to walk you through the different neighborhoods, price points, and lifestyle options so you can make the best decision for you and your family. I specialize in helping relocation buyers and move up buyers find the right fit, and I'd be happy to help you figure out if Buford is a place for you. You can find my calendar in the caption below, or you can send me a message on Instagram. My handle is Sarah Selling the Suburbs. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and stick around for more neighborhood deep dives. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.